Welcome everyone to this week's edition of AEW Dark. We start with the Best Friends taking on Hybrid 2. Marty Bell will take on Rachel Ellerin, and also Jungle Boy up against Kip Sabian in one-on-one action. Jimmy Havoc will take on Sean Spears, and in tonight's main event we'll see Sammy Guevara in action of the Inner Circle against Brandon Cutler. So the first match of this week's edition of AEW Dark saw the Best Friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, defeating the Hybrid 2 in 12:45 when Trent pinned Angelico with a quick cradle after Angelico got wiped out after a spot of partner miscommunication. Things don't seem to be going well at the moment for the Hybrid 2. It was Trent with the best performance, the best in-ring performance I should say, in this match of a 58, Chuck Taylor close behind with a 54. Jack Evans though continues to put in those consistent performances. We'll just have a look at the dirt sheet. Let's have a look at the negatives, anything to go by. It was got a bonus for a good start to the show. Jack Evans was penalised for holding back. I'm not sure I believe that. I don't think, does Jack Evans really hold back? But anyway, maybe he did in this particular match. Things just don't seem to be working at the moment for the Hybrid 2. So segment rating of 58, not bad for an episode, well, for the start of this week's episode of AEW Dark. Oh my word, it's just not looking good at the moment. I did have a look at the local workers list and Rachel Ellerin was one of those, and I thought, well, we'll stick Marty Bell in action once again on this week's episode of Dark, and segment rating of 10, which is even worse than last week. It's not looking good. I mean, Marty Bell obviously had the better in-ring performance. Just want to give some of these lesser known talents an opportunity on this stage, and well, it just seems to be going against us at the moment. So this is certainly something to think about for the next episode of Dark. Maybe we take the decision to take Marty Bell off. I'm not sure. Just look at all those negatives. Penalised for holding back. Oh dear. It's so disappointing to see. Anyway, we move on to the next segment. It's slightly better with a 36. It's Ep.2 backstage. With me at this time, the current AEW Women's Champion, the Beast, Nyla Rose. Nyla, 2 weeks ago you attacked Shida, powerbombing her off the stage. Reports say she has made quite the recovery, and we could potentially see her back in action next. Nyla Rose snatches the mic from Ep.2. I hope you're watching, Shida. I hope you're listening closely. When you come back, whether it's next week or next year, I will break you again. Just like I'm going to do to your trusty little kendo stick right now. So obviously she has Shida's kendo stick, which we saw in real life. She goes on to say, because I break bitches. Nyla Rose takes Shida's kendo stick and snaps it in half across her knee and storms off. So quite the promo from the AEW Women's Champion. It does advance the storyline. And just to quickly note that this was Ep.2's debut as a new interviewer here in AEW. I felt as though we needed to bring someone else in. So she comes from MLW, Major League Wrestling, and also another name which I forgot to mention that's also now part of AEW is Amy Dumart, also known as Lita, and she'll be working as a road agent for the women's division, and hasn't been the best of starts. Moving into our next match of the evening, in a bout that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but terrible wrestling. Jungle Boy defeated Kip Sabian within 10 minutes and 55 through submission after a distraction from Joey Janela. Of course, on the next edition of AEW Dynamite, Kip Sabian and Joey Janela will step into the ring to fight it out for a place in the TNT Championship Tournament semi-finals. So Janela only thought it was fair enough if he got involved in this match, just like Penelope Ford got involved in his Dark match just the other week. It's good to see that Kip Sabian is getting better at his gimmick. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus had pretty good chemistry. Luchasaurus at ringside for this match. It also increases the heat of the TNT Championship Tournament storyline. And we should note that the Jungle Boy was penalised for inconsistency, and obviously the match was penalised being in front of a disinterested crowd, which was a bit disappointing because I think this is the sort of match that would be quite cool. So moving in to our second to last match here on this week's episode of AEW Dark. Jimmy Havoc up against Shawn Spears. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Shawn Spears defeated Jimmy Havoc within 7 minutes 16 by pinfall after a perfect 10. Havoc with an in-ring performance of 58, and he performed a lot better than Shawn Spears. Now, I would have thought it'd be the other way around, but clearly not. Road Agent was on Anderson for this, and the segment rating got bonus because of that, but it was also penalised for being done to a disinterested crowd. A segment rating of 53, yeah, I think that's probably about right. Moving into our main event then of the evening for AEW Dark, Sammy Guevara up against Brandon Cutler. Probably the only main event that Brandon Cutler will ever take part in. I'm not sure, we'll have to wait and see, but it was Sammy Guevara that got the win after he pinned Brandon Cutler after a 6:30. Sammy Guevara, though, in this match, sustained a grade 2 hamstring contusion. So it doesn't sound good, does it? It sounds like he's going to be out for a while. His in-ring performance was a 64. Cutler got 38. Guevara and Cutler had pretty good chemistry, which is something to note. Maybe we can work on something with that in the future, or when this injury is done, maybe Guevara will come back and have another match against Cutler to right the wrongs. We'll have to wait and see. It got a segment rating of 43 and may have been brought down due to Sammy Guevara's injury. That's a bit of a setback because I did have plans for Guevara at our next pay-per-view, which is All Out. After the match, we see Sammy Guevara. He takes a mic and goes on to say, "Hey Brandy, I still haven't heard from you after that message I sent you. How about it? Hit me up. I'll show you a real man." I'm not sure why I didn't finish that sentence, but we finish it, real man. And Guevara proceeds to show off his physique and doing the call me hand sign, as you'd expect from Sammy Guevara, the Spanish God. So it got a segment rating of 59. It did advance the storyline between Cody and Sammy. As you can see, I was aiming for a match between those two at All Out. Doesn't look like it's going to happen now, seeing that he's out injured. So I'm going to have to try and find a way around that. So you'll have to stay tuned to see how we do that. Segment rating 59. Let's see what we got overall then. Let's finish off the show. We got a 41, which is slightly better than last week's. They are slowly but surely getting better and better, but the crowd wasn't happy as they expected more angles and interview segments. That's something to think about also for the next edition of AEW Dark. But that's it for this one. I do hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of AEW Dynamite. Don't miss it.